Daruba girl. La 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 la, la 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 la.
It's time now for the Rescue Rewind by Stray Rescue of St. Louis, where underdogs are saved from the streets of St. Louis and given a second chance. Brought to you by Lauren Risley Realty. Now, here is the CEO, Cassidy Caldwell, and rescuer Donna Lockman of Stray Rescue.
Welcome to Stray Rescue of St. Louis' second ever radio show, The Rescue Rewind. We are so excited to be back. The purpose of our show is to celebrate dogs. Dogs bring so much joy to us. They give us company. They make our houses homes. They bring a lot of comfort to us. They keep us laughing. They're loyal protectors, but other times they're not just pets. They are skilled workers. They work along with our police and our firefighters at search and rescue. They can detect medical concerns. They provide a lot of therapy. And so today we want to talk about a lot of cool things that our dogs do. We rescue them from the streets, and they are not just pets. They possess a wide range of skills. And so today we're going to talk about a new program, and we have our CEO, Cassidy Caldwell, and our rescuer, Donna Lockman, along with special guest, the Chief of Washington University Police, Angela Kuntz.
Yes, we're so excited to have her here today, but let's be honest, we have the WashU emotional support dogs here, Brookie and Bear, and let's just be honest, they're the stars of the shows, okay? We just work for them.
We do. we wanted to thank you for the invite today. It's been great getting Brookie and Bear out in the community and having experiences like this, and they're becoming quite the little stars. So they enjoy being on the TV or the radio. So they're both in studio today, and they're happy to be here. We have Officer Jesse Seifert, who is Bear's handler, and Officer Greg Kasem, who is Brookie's handler.
So let's back up and just talk about, so we rescued some puppies.
Yes, gosh, what was it, 6 or 8 puppies, guys? I am getting old, and sadly, we rescue so many every week. I can't remember how many was exactly in this litter. Beautiful babies. They were actually living about an hour outside of the city of St. Louis, literally living in a barn, trash, disgusting. I got a text. Somebody asked if I could take them. I'm going to take these babies today. And that leads into Chief Kuntz reaching out because she came up with an amazing program. How'd you come about the program, Kuntz?
Yeah, well, I started at Washington University on August 1st, and there were several reports that are helping me guide my way through the transition to the university. I was a St. Louis City police officer for 24 years prior to that. So when I got to the university, we had received a lot of feedback from our campus community that they wanted our officers to find a better way to respond to mental health and crisis calls on campus. And we do have a lot of those calls. I mean, we have students from around the world, and it's a very stressful environment.
Absolutely. Away
from their families for the first time. I mean, we have students from, we have a large contingency of students from China that don't get to go home a lot. Mm-hmm. And so imagine, being from around the world, from Singapore, for instance, and not getting to get to go home and visit your family or your pets. So we do have a lot of a need for this type of program at the university. So when I looked around the country at what other campuses were doing, there are a lot of universities now that have started comfort or therapy dog programs, and reached out to several of those. One of them has been a great partner, the University of Illinois. We went to Champaign-Urbana to visit them and got to see their therapy dogs in action, and we're just really wowed by the way that the dogs have an immediate effect on campus.
Absolutely. I mean, let's be honest, we all need extra emotional support and love in 2023 in this world.
So Brookie and Bear really have 3 jobs on campus. The first, once they graduate from their program, and it's been, they're doing really well in their training.
They're straight A students. Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
They are.
How long is the training?
Well, right now, every Saturday they go to Stray Rescue, and they have class on Saturday morning, and that's more of a socialization class. So we want to make sure that they're very social with other dogs and people. So they're getting a lot of people contact on campus, trust me. But they're not seeing as many dogs, so we want to make sure that they're very socialized. So they get a lot of socialization on Saturdays at Stray Rescue. And then on Tuesday, the trainer from Stray Rescue actually comes to campus and does more training with them about, the really important things like sit, stay, and the things that are going to help them on campus when they're responding to calls. So their first test is going to be their Gold Star Puppy certification. So they are very advanced right now. So we anticipate they're going to graduate from that program, and we're going to have a little celebration at the university. And each one of the steps through their program to get their therapy dog certification, we're going to recognize that on campus. So that'll be their first job, is responding to mental health calls and crisis calls on campus. Once they get their certification, they're not responding to those calls right now with officers, but they will once they reach that certification. And then their second job really is just to break the ice with students and faculty and staff. So that's been, I think, with Officer Kasem and Officer Seifert, that we talk a lot about this. And I've seen it firsthand just walking around campus with the pups. Everybody wants to meet them. People know their names. Students are seeking them out. And they have a lot of followers on Instagram right now.
I follow your pages.
Yeah.
They're already supporting the whole campus. It's amazing.
You can totally tell just how the feel good that they're already presenting on campus just from the posts that I've seen too. I mean, it's
the students
it's
just
just
smile
over
from
the
ear,
top,
yeah,
right?
The students just smile from ear to ear.
Yeah.
It's over the top.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
And it's for a lot of reasons. I mean, we have a lot of conversations after they go out for the day and come back about what those experiences were that day. And a lot of the students will say, hey, I had a couple tests today and I don't think I did that well. And I need Brookie to sit on my lap for a while. And she will do that as long as we let her. So she's a good lap dog. And so really giving the students the opportunity just to hold a puppy, to pet the dogs. And there's a lot of studies that are behind that. It's not just, we're not just making this up. There's a lot of science behind the effect that dogs have on people.
So much science. Yes.
Yeah. So we've got some regulars that always seem to know where the puppies are and show up. And it's been great for them just to have that opportunity to know that they can find them on campus somewhere and spend some time with them. So that's very important. And then really the third thing that's, I think, we don't talk as much about is really the officer wellness and the effect that the puppies are having on the officers that work at WUPD, Washington University Police Department. So, we have really a melting pot of officers from around the region, like myself. I spent 24 years in St. Louis City as a police officer, and each of the officers at WUPD has different experiences and trauma that they're bringing with them to the university. So we want to show the officers that we're focused on their mental health and their wellness as well. So it just like the students, when we see the puppies running down the hallway, it makes us smile also.
Absolutely. Now, how many officers do you have?
We have 47 police officers and 20 professional staff members at Washington University Police Department.
So we're going to have 47 emotional support dogs, right? I'm just dreaming, guys. I'm dreaming. I just had to throw it out to the universe.
Well, we've already been asked multiple times, like, when are we getting the next round of puppies?
Okay, so it's not just me
so
hoping everybody gets a puppy.
Yeah, we want to make sure these guys get through their training first. But, it's interesting, when I talked to the University of Illinois police chief, that was the thing that she said. I said, what are the challenges going to be if we start this program in St. Louis? She said the only challenge is going to be you're going to need more dogs. You can never have enough dogs. And they have 6 right now at U of I. So yeah, we anticipate we may be back at Stray Rescue sooner than later.
Well, I would love to say that we didn't have dogs for you, but sadly, we will always have puppies for you at this point in time. So yes, we're so honored to have been asked to do this and be your partner.
Yeah, and I think that was the important thing for us. When we started looking at this program, there's a lot of phenomenal organizations around the country that train therapy dogs and provide therapy dogs to law enforcement, to veterans that may be suffering from PTSD. And so we looked at some of those other organizations, and for me, there was only one thing missing. There were none that were local in St. Louis City. I'm a resident of St. Louis City, and I really wanted something local. So I immediately thought of Stray Rescue, and we set up the meeting. We met with you the first time in January, and the one word you never hear from Stray Rescue is no. So, I went into that meeting not knowing what to expect, and, kind of laid out what we wanted to do on campus with therapy dogs, and that we wanted to use rescue dogs. And, I don't even think I'd finished my first sentence, and Cassie's like, yes, we're in. What do you need? And so it was just a great experience. And interestingly, that day, I think this was really meant to be. Brookie and Bear were there that day. It was their first day being at Stray Rescue.
They just happened to be in the meeting.
There just happened to be a couple puppies in the room you were meeting in.
Now that I think about it, I think that might have been a setup.
It worked out well, though.
It worked out well, though. But, to tell their story is amazing on campus. Having rescue dogs really that were thrown away like trash in a dump that didn't have any hope for life at that point. And they've made it to the campus of Washington University. They're employees of the university. They will have a home and a job for life, and, officers and families that they go home to at night. And to tell their story and really the opportunities that a partnership like Washington University and Stray Rescue, the opportunities that can bring to not only the St. Louis community as a whole, but to animals and the people that work at the, Stray Rescue, that volunteer at Stray Rescue. It's just life-changing, and the university is life-changing. WashU is having a huge effect on the St. Louis community, and I think this is just one good example of that.
Absolutely. And we're so lucky to have Cherie, an amazing trainer, in-house. I mean, she's doing a wonderful, wonderful job. So we're lucky to have her.
Yes,
as
absolutely.
well. And Blue Buffalo, again, that feeds us, has stepped up to feed the puppies for life. So that's pretty cool, too.
Yeah, that
helps you guys.
That helps us so much. I mean, we didn't have funding for this program. This was something, it was the middle of a fiscal year. I was new at the university. So we didn't have any funding set aside to initiate a program. So the fact that we can use rescue dogs and that Stray Rescue is sponsoring the program and Blue Buffalo is providing the food and treats for the puppies, and they're going through it. They are growing very quickly. So that's it's really created that opportunity for us because we couldn't have done it otherwise.
Well, and kudos to you, Chief Kuntz, for bringing this to WashU.
Absolutely.
Because this is amazing. This is amazing for the officers and the students.
Yeah, well, I love animals. I certainly love Stray Rescue. It's one of my favorite organizations in St. Louis. So it, to me, was when you're thinking about starting a program like this, there's no other organization in the city that would be a better sponsor than Stray Rescue.
Thank you very much.
I think
Chief
I
Kuntz.
speak for all of us at Stray Rescue, too, that we're so, so proud to be partnering with you guys.
Oh,
It's
so
just
proud.
absolutely an amazing thing for us as well, and just to be able to follow you guys on Instagram and see the pictures of the puppies out with the students and all the people, it's absolutely over the top amazing. So
I'll say the first weekend that Brookie and Bear had training at Stray Rescue, we had a lot of students on campus asking us, like, where'd they come from? Can we volunteer there? And so we're doing a lot of props for Stray Rescue on campus now. So the first Saturday that we went to Stray Rescue for their first puppy training with Cherie, as we were leaving, there was a group of students that we noticed had WashU shirts on in the back. Yeah. And so there was a huge group of students that were volunteering at Stray Rescue that Saturday. And it really warmed our hearts to know that our students, and many of them aren't from St. Louis, they're from around the world, are actively participating in volunteer opportunities at Stray Rescue. And it's something I expect to see more students because we have a lot of students that are very attached to the dogs now. And, when we tell the story of where they came from, I mean, I often see people cry because to think of throwing 2 puppies in the trash right before Christmas,
Absolutely.
and giving them no opportunity for life. But to see that just with some love and support and some ideas out of the box thinking that now they are employees of the university and will be there for life. It's really a telling story about just what love can do.
Absolutely. And all these animals, the strays that are abandoned, I mean, they all have a story. They all have a life that they want to live and a life that they deserve. Humans are the ones that have done them wrong, So we're here to give them their second chances. And you guys have given them a second chance, and now they're famous.
yeah.
They are famous.
It's definitely a win-win.
Next time we do the radio show and they're here, they're going to both have a rider of everything they require. The bones, the water, everything. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. They don't like rain, so
They don't like rain. They don't like
we know that.
elements.
Yeah, they don't like the elements too much. They don't like cold. It's got to be just right for them to be outside. But yeah, there's a big investment with the students at the university with these puppies, and we gave them the opportunity to name one of the dogs. We named Bear right away. The police department named Bear because it's the Washington University Bears. That's the mascot. So that was kind of a no-brainer for us. And he really, as we saw him as a puppy, he really looked like a little bear cub. So that seemed meant to be. So we named Bear right away. But we went around campus and got about 6 name ideas for the other puppy and allowed the students to come up with those names. So there was a good contingent of names, all related to the university in some way. Franny was one option for Francis Field, Millie for the Millbrook building, which is on campus. But ultimately, Brookie won out. And it's fitting because Brookings Hall is one of the first signature buildings on campus. So
okay.
It's been there, since the opening of the university. So it's really the signature building at the university. It's what you think of. So to be the first building, and obviously for her to be one of the first service dogs on campus is really important.
And now you have names waiting for that next round of puppies.
We do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we did take a poll on social media, and that Brookie went out overall. So you can follow the pups on their Instagram page at WUPD Dogs with 2 Ds, WUPD DOGS. and they're getting a lot of followers right now. So they do have more followers than our police department. That did not take long.
All animals do and should, right? Exactly.
That's true.
Exactly. So Natalie, aka our Nat, is also on the mic with us. So what are we going to talk about next? Let's have a little rundown. Let's do like a little pregame.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, this is one of our favorite new programs. We're so excited to have you here today and talk about this. I think the options are limitless of how we can grow and how our rescue dogs can help more people. So we're really, really excited. A couple other programs that we have that are also important are our Seniors for Seniors program, where we pair older dogs with older people to be their companion at home. Maybe a lower energy dog or a dog that doesn't pull on a leash can really, really change the quality of life for someone that might live alone or be lonely. We also have our Dogs for the Decorated program, which is an excellent opportunity for current or retired military.
And just to add,
Yeah.
with those two programs, we do your annuals and your vaccines for free for life, as well as food free for life of the dogs with both of those programs. So just to let you guys know.
Which is just a huge, I mean, that's a huge amount of money.
Absolutely.
It's expensive to have a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it could be the like tipping point for somebody, stepping up to get one versus not, because as badly as they want that company, they maybe understand that they don't really have the finances to give the dog everything that they need. So for us to step in and help with that is huge.
Absolutely, Donna. And we have amazing donors that allow us to do that, because I would much rather pay for the annuals, and Blue Buffalo is the food sponsor, get that animal in a home instead of it sitting in a shelter. So that's a no-brainer. Yep.
Yeah,
Well, it's quality food, too.
It is quality
I want to throw that in from the Wash U side. I mean, it is quality food. It's not, it's something that's going to keep the dogs healthy. I mean, these dogs are growing so fast. And, we know it's partly because of the food that they're eating is really quality.
Mm-hmm. I know today when I walked in, I was like, how old are they now? And I mean, they're just 18 weeks, but they're growing.
little sprouts.
They are little sprouts.
Every time they have a day off, they come back and they're an inch taller. So we're trying not to give them too many days
So
off.
maybe
right now.
that estimate that we gave you that they probably won't be over 35 pounds is not accurate?
We think that we were provided false information.
So when they're 90 pounds, I don't know where they came from.
They're going to be 90-pound lap dogs.
Exactly. Yes, they are.
It may take more than one lap, but they will be lap dogs.
Right.
So, Natalie, let's talk about a little bit what we are going to discuss with Donna.
Yeah, so
on the
we're
second
also
half.
gonna
Yeah.
talk a lot today. It's weird at Stray Rescue. So we'll have months where we rescue a lot of gunshot victims back
Yes.
to back to back, or a lot of dogs who have been hit by cars and left for dead back to back to back. And this month it's been very interesting. We've gotten so many moms and puppies in distress.
So many.
And the stories will end happy. But we're going to talk about that next when we come back. And we want to thank Window Depot USA of STL for being our sponsor today. Jason and Lisa over there are wonderful. They come and walk the dogs for us. They love their pit bull at home. They are huge advocates for rescue dogs. And we're so lucky to have them as sponsors and supporting our show today and making this possible.
Thank you
Absolutely.
so much.
And
Yeah,
we couldn't
appreciate
do what we do without our donors and sponsors. We are a non-for-profit. Every dollar that we get, it comes from donors. We don't get any government money. We don't get anything like that. So we can't do this without you guys. So thank you.
And it all goes for medical, because every single animal that comes into Stray Rescue requires medical of some sort. Some are way more extensive than others, but even when you think about just vaccines and spay and neuter, every animal that comes through Stray Rescue needs even just the basics. So it's your donations go to that medical, and that's what keeps us going.
Absolutely, Donna and Sally, because the majority of these guys are strays, most of them have heartworms. And
Yes.
that's a totally different ballgame.
Right. So
Just to give you guys a little preview, we're going to talk about the 6 school bus puppies, Fleur, Pachita, and Muffin, and her 7 puppies. And if we have time, a couple more maybe. So see you guys in a minute.
La 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 la.
And now back to the Rescue Rewind with Stray Rescue of St. Louis, CEO Cassidy Caldwell, and rescuer Donna Luckman on the Big 550 KTRS.
Okay, so that sound you just heard was the saddest little puppy grunts of this rescue that we did this month that Donna's going to tell you about. I'll just set it up. It was pouring rain that day, and our phone rang, and our rescue dispatch group answered the phone, and a school bus driver said that she was parked on the side of the road in North City, St. Louis, and saw some puppies in a vacant lot. And it was just raining so hard. And anytime
It's so cold, remember?
It was cold.
Oddly cold for spring, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And kind of that single day, like it had been warm,
Yes.
cold day,
Yep.
it just happened to be cold that day, yeah.
Yep.
So, of course, Cassidy said, "Bring me those babies."
Bring me the babies. That's what I always say. It's kind of a joke now. Stray Rescue. Bring me the babies. Give me the
Bring
babies.
those babies. Yeah, so, after the bus driver called, we headed right out. And when we got to the area that she explained where they were, the call had been that they were in this field. And she gave us an intersection. When we got to the intersection, unfortunately, there was a field on all four corners. So we kind of just parked and got out and started walking because we had no idea where these guys were going to be. And I think we were very, very lucky that this bus driver happened to see these puppies because as Natalie and I came up on them, the four of them were just piled all together. You could see they were soaking wet. It was so cold. And as you approached, you didn't even have to be right on top of them. As you approached, you could hear those whimpering sounds.
Pitiful. It's okay, Donna. It's emotion. It's okay, Donna. Don't ever apologize for emotion.
Well, they were just so
They were pitiful.
And they were
Pitiful.
way smaller than we thought. We thought they might be puppies running around in a field, but to
Right.
come up on a pile of
Yeah.
You guys heard the cries.
fully
Imagine
expected.
walking up on the cries.
Yeah.
Yeah, Donna. Absolutely. No.
Yeah,
I'd be
we
worried about
fully
you, Donna, if you weren't crying at this point because, being in law enforcement even for 24 years, I mean, if you're not emotional over things like that or, some of the trauma that I've seen, like, you need to check in because you shouldn't get used to those sounds and you shouldn't get used to that.
Absolutely. I think one of my first thoughts, too, was I totally was not expecting, as Natalie said, we were not expecting them to be such small puppies.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking they were going to be like running around the field and we were going to be chasing these puppies all over the place. But these four were just huddled together and their little faces were looking at us like, help. You could see they were just soaking wet because it had poured down rain that morning. And and to pick them up, you could feel the stickiness of they had apparently been wherever they were sleeping and laying in their own urine, so it makes them very sticky. And the white fur that they did have was just stained yellow, so so you knew that even prior to them being dumped where they were, that they were not being well taken care of at all.
and their mom probably wasn't with them because a mama dog would never let her babies.
Right.
Oh,
Get
never.
like
Get 'em.
that. No, they take good care of their babies and they clean them. So, mom probably had not been with them for a while as well. And the call also was that there were 6 puppies, so the 4 were together. And the caller had mentioned that 2 of them were, she said, further back in the field. So we weren't 100% sure what she meant by that, but we just started looking around. And actually, let me back up just a second. We made sure that the first 4, we put them into the Jeep where we had kept it running, kept the heat on. We actually put them on the floor in the front and turned the heat on the floor so
And they
that
just
they
started
could.
doing those little grunts as they felt the heat, and they
Yeah.
were just climbing up against the vents. We turned it down a little because we didn't want their fur to get singed because they were just
Right.
up against the heat, like where the passenger seat floorboard is where we put them so they could climb right up there.
Yeah. So they could cuddle in and get warm.
That was their heaven at that
Yeah.
point.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yep.
So they, so once those 4 were safe and getting warm in the Jeep, we kind of made our way around, separated, and started hunting for the other 2. And kind of just off to the left of where the first 4 were, there was a large area of brush and trash. And I just happened to see a little black head kind of pop up and look at me. And 2 of the other 2 were just kind of off to the side, all cuddled into this, the weeds, trying to stay warm. They weren't quite as wet as the other ones, so they definitely found a place to keep them a little more safe from the elements. But it was just sad to see them, peeking through the weeds and the trash. Their little eyes, man, when they look at you, they just pierce your heart for sure.
That video that Natalie took, when they looked up, no, that hit you in a place you didn't know you had.
Yeah.
That was brutal.
Yeah. So we grabbed them up real quick and did kind of a sweep through the weeds to just make sure that there weren't more than 6, and headed back to the Jeep and got everybody warm and got right to the shelter. And then once we got to the shelter, we gave everybody a warm bath to get all the sticky urine off of them.
Oh, the water was...
It was gross, yeah.
And all the vet techs were lined up with warm towels.
Yeah,
I got in on it. I'm like, give me a puppy. But, I mean, everybody was like, give me those babies. We all were.
Yeah.
But those warm towels, you could see their little faces go, ooh.
Yeah, well, and just to be able to then see them all and be holding them, and they're no longer making those little whimpering noises, that they're finally getting warm and content. And then we brought out the food bowls. And, oh, my God.
They needed
were
baths again.
Needed another bath. Yeah.
God, they were so hungry and thirsty, too. Yeah, they just munched right up on the food. And
I know it's so
the
sad.
water.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, John,
No,
but it's
that's
so
okay.
sad, as you know, when they're so thirsty, whether they're a puppy or an adult dog, they're drinking their bath water.
right. Yeah.
That
They instantly
kills me
started.
every
yeah.
time, and that's what all of them
Well,
did.
yeah, because, you got to
But it's
think
just,
that all
God.
that urine's running off them into the water, and they're trying to drink it. So, yeah, we're getting them
But they're
bowls.
just so thirsty. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We see that in all ages. And
Yep.
it's just, it kills me. Yep.
Yeah, so they all got their baths and got warm towels and food, and we set them up with some nice cushy blankets and some little dog beds, and they literally
and little toys.
just piled up together and went right to sleep. I mean, it's so nice to see them at peace
Absolutely.
and not shivering anymore. It truly does warm your heart. And then instantly to have fosters step up to take them and welcome them into their homes. And then, within the next few days to see the fosters sending updated pictures, and they're playing with toys and they're cuddling with people on the couches. You're like, yes, that's why we do this.
Exactly.
That's
they're
exactly
in
why we
sweaters
do
and
it.
they're in hats and they're like, it's a totally different world.
Right.
Thank goodness for
Yes,
them. But yes,
absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But, we're so thankful to people that see an animal in need and call us so that we are able to help. So kudos to the bus driver for giving us a call. And thankfully, they're all safe and happy and warm and looking for forever homes.
And we do get a lot of phone calls from whether it's, the, trash truck driver, the bus driver, police department.
A lot of police
We
officers.
get multiple police calls every single day. Firefighters.
Utility workers, too. A lot of
utility
utility
workers,
workers.
tons of utility. I mean, but it's really an honor to be the place that they call. I'm glad that they trust us that much.
Absolutely.
That's an honor.
So
So
I know the police officers, coming from St. Louis City, we depended on stray rescue for so many years because oftentimes there was nowhere for us to take the strays that we would find. So I know I myself have delivered numerous animals to stray rescue, but also the officers that work for me over the years were always delivering dogs to stray rescue, and really enjoyed getting their picture taken at stray rescue with the dogs that they'd rescued because they knew that they were going to have a second chance at life.
And that's so stray rescue is no kill, but it's so much beyond no kill. So I think a lot of places will bring us dogs. Police officers will bring us injured dogs or have gunshot wounds because they know that we are not going to put the dog down.
we had 2 officers pull up. What was it, about a month and a half ago or 2 months ago? I'm getting old, guys. You just have to help me. Those 2 officers, all of a sudden, I hear sirens, flying down our road, slam on brakes. I'm like, oh my goodness, what's happening at Stray Rescue? Gunshot victim, a dog. I mean, they were nonstop getting that dog to us. Yeah. Now
And
she's
thankfully,
fine
she
and
was
she's
okay.
adopted
Yeah.
and she's wonderful. But
Mhm.
but the stuff that they see, and then they trust us to help. Right?
Yeah, and
so
I think the power of social media too. Telling the stories of these dogs that are shot, and even the rescue you just described on. I think it's one thing to tell someone the story, but when you can see the video and hear the cries of those animals, and for the officers, they're seeing those dogs in the worst possible
oh,
circumstances.
absolutely.
So to be able to see them later, in a foster home, smiling and happy, and seeing them play for the first time, I mean, it really is. It makes you realize what you're doing is really important.
And when the officers came back the next day, I mean, most all of the officers, they either call, they come back,
Yeah,
they
they check
in.
in.
Like,
Mhm,
they
for
really
sure.
care.
Yeah.
And
It's
that's,
not
and that's
just
also
pick
cool.
it up and dump. They
No, they
definitely
really, really care. So
check
that-
back in and are interested.
Kudos to the St. Louis Police Department. For that,
Absolutely.
and our amazing firefighters. They bring them in too. But
Yeah.
sadly, the cops are the ones where they're getting, the gunshots or the knife wounds or stuff like that.
Yep.
And I do want to say that everything we're talking about today, Bear and Brookie, our little school bus puppies, even Tippy, our gunshot dog we just talked about, you can see all of them at strayrescue.org/on-air. If you want to watch and look at the faces of the dogs we're talking about, they're all right there. So head to strayrescue.org/on-air.
Wonderful. So, do we have time to go into somebody else? Perfect. Okay, so Donna, who do you want to talk about next?
I think
I hope
we should do Fleur.
Yeah, okay, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was hoping. Okay, good.
So, just as kind of a setup, the call that we had received was from a gentleman that was some sort of truck driver. I'm not sure if it was a utility truck or what, but he had pulled into a small park in North City to kind of take a break. And as he was sitting in his truck, he saw somebody pull up, get out of their car. They had a plastic tub in their hand. They walked over, set it on top of a trash can, and got back in their car and left. So the caller was curious about what that was about. So he walked over, and there was a puppy in this plastic tub. Well, this gentleman
Now
was
on the trash can.
Yes, now just
Alone.
sitting on a trash can. So somebody was definitely just basically tossing this puppy in the trash. So the caller, he didn't really know what to do, so he did call us. He did ask around. There were a few other people in the park, and he was trying to get some kind of help for this puppy, and nobody seemed either willing or able to help. So he did give us a call.
He was trying to take a break and he became a hero.
Right, exactly.
Sorry. I mean,
It's turned into way more than I expected.
Into way more than a little break he wanted.
Right.
Sometimes you're
and
just in the right place at the right
He's
time.
absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Those rescue guides, whether they're watching us
Absolutely.
or somebody else,
They
they're
picked
showing
him that day to call
They're
us.
showing people where they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I headed out to the park. The gentleman actually had to leave, and he had asked somebody to keep an eye on the puppy. We're never quite sure how that's going to go, but so I headed out there, and by the time I got there, it was pitch black. It was a call late in the day, and so it was already very dark. And the only lights really in this park were the headlights of my Jeep and the flashlight that I had with me. But when I pulled up, it was a very small park. There was only one pavilion, and I saw the tub sitting on top of the trash. So I was instantly like, thank God, the puppy is still here. And I walked up to the trash can, and my heart sank because it was empty. There was a blanket still in there. It was still sitting on top of the trash can, but there was no puppy. And I kind of panicked. I was like, man, at that point, you don't know whether somebody took the puppy or whether they dumped it somewhere else or whether they just set it on the ground and the puppy wandered off. So I started kind of looking around with my flashlight and making little puppy noises and little barks and hoping that I would see something or hear something, but it was absolutely pitch black quiet. And I was really kind of getting discouraged, to be honest. And I I just in my head, I kept thinking he has to be here somewhere. I couldn't imagine that somebody had taken him.
You knew it, Donna. You always know.
She does. She has a.
You've
a
got
sixth
spidey
sense.
senses, something, yeah, for sure.
So I honestly just kept looking and looking. There was trash piles off to the left of the pavilion, and you just keep looking, hoping that you're going to see that little head pop up and look. But there was absolutely nothing, and I was getting ready to actually give up, and which, I hate to say the term give up, but I wasn't seeing anything, and it was so dark. I just was not holding out a lot of hope for finding this puppy. And I remembered that I had the FLIR thermal camera in the Jeep. So I got that out and literally just started panning the area around the pavilion where the puppy had originally been seen, and still nothing. And I sort of panned over to some of the weeds, and I hit the bush that was there. And I mean, I'm still like, I don't know, 25 plus feet, 30 feet from this bush. And the camera hit the bush, and I saw a light spot. And I was like, in my head thinking, oh my God, is that really him? And I was actually on the phone with the person at Stray Rescue that had taken the call. And she said it was so weird because I got really quiet, and she was wondering if I was okay. And as I'm on the phone with her, I'm walking up to this bush, and I knelt down. I could still see on the thermal camera what I was seeing on the back of the screen. And I set that down, and I picked up my flashlight, and here we go again.
Yeah. Just take a second, Donna. It's good.
I shined the light in the bush. And God, when I saw his face, I can't even tell you the relief I felt to know that we found him. I'm sorry.
Don't apologize. Just real quick, a little backstory. Just give Donna a second.
Thank you.
We got the thermal, what's it called? The thermal
FLIR
reader,
camera.
the thermal camera, because sadly we go in so many abandoned houses, and Donna is always finding puppies, and sadly some of them get stuck in floors and walls, and we're having to rip stuff apart to get them. So she had an amazing idea to, hey, what if I had this type of camera?
Because we lose sleep wondering
Absolutely.
if we got them all.
Absolutely, Natalie. You're like, was there some left in the wall that I didn't hear?
And we
This,
scour,
so-
we look everywhere, but you just lay awake all night staring at your ceiling going, what if one's still there?
So, of course, we put out a plea, and, of course, we had that thing bought in like an hour. It was amazing. The
Everybody
community stepped
chipped in.
up. Everybody chipped in. So that's how we got that, and it worked for Donna this first time.
It absolutely did. I would have never, even with the flashlight, because the bush that he was in, even though there were, it's winter, so there's still no leaves or anything on the bushes, but the bottom of the bush was filled with like brown dead leaves, and the puppy was brown.
Yeah.
So I would have never, and he was so curled up in a ball too because it was chilly that night.
And come to find out, also Donna, but super sick as well. So
Yeah.
So
Well,
no
never,
movement.
And I
no
think
movement.
that's why he probably never popped his head
Absolutely.
up
He
or
wasn't-
never made a sound because
Absolutely.
as it turns out, he had parvo.
Let's talk about that as soon as we come back from break.
And now back to the Rescue Rewind with Stray Rescue of St. Louis, CEO Cassidy Caldwell, and rescuer Donna Luckman on the Big 550 KTRS.
Right. Thank you to Jason and Lisa from Window Depot USA of STL for sponsoring this segment today. And it was so important that you found that puppy that night because he was sick.
Yeah, he ended up being very sick, actually. On the way back to the shelter, he kind of sat on the seat. And I didn't think a whole lot about it at first because I knew he was, I'm sure, scared and tired from being out. But when we got back to the shelter and offered him some food, he kind of sniffed at it, but they get this sort of nauseous look on their face, and he was drooling some. So that's never a good sign. And we tested him for parvo, and it popped positive right off the bat. So he was a strong positive parvo pup. And
So somebody probably dumped him
because
he was so sick.
They
Yep.
didn't know what to do.
Exactly. And so that he would have absolutely, in my mind, passed away that night out there sitting in that bush. So he was going to need round-the-clock care for a while, so we immediately took him to the emergency clinic, and they got him on fluids and got his temp was really low when we took him in, but as soon as his body started warming up, then he was showing the signs of fever. His fever actually went up to 106, which is pretty high
Absolutely,
for a puppy.
yeah.
So, but he spent a week, a little over a week actually, in two different emergency clinics, and we had to switch clinics because he actually needed a second blood transfusion. He got one at the first emergency clinic he was at, and
they ran out of blood.
Yeah, it
his
just
tide,
wasn't
so we
enough.
just- yeah,
wasn't enough
so-
to get his body over the hump. So he had to go to a second emergency clinic, get an additional blood transfusion, and after that he started to perk up, and we were able to pick him up from the clinic, and he actually just recently left for foster and is just starting. We're just starting to see signs of him being a real puppy. He wants to play. He likes toys.
Is that Foster your house?
No.
No, okay. I didn't know I couldn't remember.
I really, really, really wanted to take him, but with parvo being so contagious, it's hard for me to be out there rescuing animals that are unvaccinated and worrying about whether I'm taking the virus from my house to the Jeep to other animals. And so he went to a foster that's done parvo puppies for us before. He actually has another playmate at home now that was a parvo survivor as well, which is cool.
Very cool.
So I can't wait to see updated videos and pictures and stuff of him playing with toys, and he finally gets to be a puppy. And
How many days was that baby in the hospital?
it was
5 or 6 at least,
it was
right?
longer than
Was
that
it longer?
because
Okay.
it was from a Friday to Friday at one, and
Okay.
then from Friday to Monday at the second.
Yeah.
So over a week. Yeah.
I would
Like
love
10
to just
days.
play this clip real quick of him going to foster. You can hear just how excited and how healthy he is now. Listen to this.
Who's feeling better? Somebody's ready for foster. You leaving? You leaving? Yes. Are you leaving for foster? Yes. You have fun. Okay. You gonna go play with your friend? Huh? You're gonna have a new friend. Okay. You be good boy. We love you. We love you so much. Okay. Yeah. I know. You be good boy. Okay. All right.
Yeah, and on the break, it was interesting. We were talking about the similarities in how what Donna's doing and the tools that she's using to rescue animals is similar to a lot of the tools that law enforcement and firefighters use to do the same search and rescue missions. So we use the FLIR cameras. You know, the helicopters are often equipped with FLIR thermal imaging cameras so that we can find people at night, or to say there's a child lost in a field. You know, there's the fastest way to find that is through the heat sensors and these FLIR cameras. So it was an interesting conversation on the break. We were just talking about the similarities and what Donna does. And I mean, I think we've heard today she's certainly seen some of the same trauma that law enforcement officers experience, but then also the same joy at the end. I mean, you get to see at the end of the day, like these rescue missions, the joy that you're giving the people that are going to adopt these dogs in the future, and you're really just spreading a lot of love over the St. Louis community.
So you mentioned that the police use those FLIR cameras in their helicopter. So does that mean that's going to be my next
Helicopter.
rescue?
I was already thinking as we sat here, you know, they have the
From the
drones
Jeep
now.
to a
with
helicopter?
Maybe not the helicopter, Donna.
Well, actually, I'm going to put the helicopter on our Amazon wish list.
There we go.
but they do have the cameras that are the UAS devices, the drones that you can fly that do have those as well. And there was on social media, going back to that, there was a lost dog recently that was found by one of those drones flying through a field. So it might be something that you need to put on your wish list.
We actually, when Gallery got lost, through connections, had the local police department out there came out, and that drone, it was huge,
It's cool.
but they had both a regular camera and a thermal camera on that. We didn't actually find the dog with that, but to know that that's out there and available, that was very, very cool for them to come out and help us with
We need to look
with
into
that search.
into that though, Chief Coots. That's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Technology is just amazing today. And,
It is.
and so utilizing that. Maybe you can find something to crawl under one of those houses instead of you, Donna, because I'm always nervous when I watch those videos, seeing Donna crawl under these houses. I'm like, who's going to rescue Donna? you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so we did mention our wish list. We have over 500 dogs and cats in our system on any given day. If you want to help, you can always make a donation on our website, strayrescue.org/donate. Become a monthly donor, and you can be a part of every single one of these rescues. Or you can go to our wish list and send us things that we need for our fosters. We give them everything we need. If you're interested in fostering or volunteering, after what you've heard today, we would love to have you. Go to our website, strayrescue.org/on-air, to see everything that we talked about today. We cannot thank you enough, Chief Koontz, for being here with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for the invite.
Brookie,
Yeah,
thank
sorry,
you.
Bear and Brookie kind of slept through this whole segment.
They're
but
passed out the corner.
They've got work to do when they get back to campus today. so.
Exactly. They're taking their diva naps right now.
And Cassidy and Donna, we got to go rescue. So we got to get out of
Let's
here.
do it.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
and
you
thank
so
you
much.
one more time, Window Depot USA of STL. If you're doing new entryway or patio doors or windows, please check them out. They are awesome. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
guys so
you.
much.
Thank you.
She's the Aruba girl. La 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 la.
You've been listening to the Rescue Rewind by Stray Rescue of St. Louis. Come adopt, volunteer, or foster. Located at 2320 Pine Street in downtown St. Louis. This week's show was brought to you by Lauren Risley Realty. Online at strayrescue.org.